Hundreds of Israeli troops are reported to have entered various cities in the occupied West Bank, targeting Palestinian militants in the area. But the UN chief called on Israel to cease its operations and to comply with relevant obligations under international humanitarian law and take measures to protect civilians and ensure their safety. Guterres urged security forces to exercise maximum restraint and use lethal force only when it was strictly unavoidable to protect life. A view echoed by the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights.
A major operation by Israeli security forces in the occupied West Bank risks seriously deepening an already catastrophic situation. Israel's operations in Jenin, in Tubas and in Tulkarm today takes the overall death toll in the West Bank since 7th of October to 637 people killed. Many children have been killed while throwing stones at highly protected Israeli security forces, as have other Palestinians, posing no imminent threat to life. Thousands of Palestinians have also been arbitrarily arrested and tortured, subjected to unrelenting settler violence, severe restrictions on their movement and expression, with their homes and property destroyed or seized, or forcibly displaced. Israel, as the occupying power, must abide by its obligations under international law. The Israeli security forces' use of airstrikes and other military weapons and tactics violates human rights norms and standards.
IDF troops backed by helicopters, drones and armored personnel carriers raided what they view as flashpoint cities, calling it a counter-terrorism operation.
Our IDF forces began this counter-terrorism operation in Jenin and Tulkarm. We are targeting armed terrorists from the air and the ground, dismantling explosives planted under the road and confiscating large quantities of weapons. Now, in Jenin, 3 armed terrorists who posed a threat to our forces were eliminated in an aerial strike. In Jenin and Tulkarm, our forces eliminated 2 more armed terrorists. We apprehended wanted suspects. We located and confiscated weapons, M16s, ammunition and additional military equipment.
This Tulkarm resident talks about his family's experience during the IDF raid in the early hours of Wednesday morning.
We were asleep and woke up to gunshots around 3:30 a.m. I started waking my wife up, telling her the army is shooting at the house. I was barely able to wake her up and they hit the house with a rocket. We ran, my wife and I, to the other room. They fired another rocket. My son and his wife are on the 2nd floor. They hit them with a rocket. Look at the 2nd floor. It has collapsed. The house went up in flames as they shot 3-4 rockets. We yelled at them that our house is in flames and we did not know where to go.
The Secretary General also expressed deep concern for what the UN termed recent dangerous and provocative acts and statements by Israeli Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir at the holy sites in Jerusalem, stressing the importance of maintaining the status quo. Antonio Guterres also indicated that only an end to the occupation and a return to a meaningful political process that would establish a 2-state solution would bring an end to the cycles of violence in the region. He said the United Nations would continue to work with all parties towards that end to seek a de-escalation of the current situation and promote stability in the region. Shervin Briceby's SABC News, New York.